Welcome to the 981 generation Porsche Cayman GT4. Widely acclaimed to be one of the finest handling cars of all time, at its launch, this was the first time a Cayman was allowed to have 911 levels of performance. In fact, this track-bred mid-engine sports car came so close to proving that the 911 was a flawed concept from the get-go that when its successor arrived 1 year later, Porsche dropped the flat-six engine throughout its range, switching to a turbocharged boxer 4-cylinder. So today, we will take this engineering masterpiece for a spin around the dreaded Imola. Hi there, my name is Neil and welcome to my channel. We are into day 2 of the week already. This week we are at Imola, which is in Italy, and today it's time for a slightly powerful sports car between the 300 and 500 horsepower bracket. So today we have got the Porsche Cayman GT4. Yes, another week, another Porsche, I know. But okay, the point is, the Cayman GT4 is an extremely track focused car. I probably should have featured it earlier, but in the first week I did go with the Porsche 911 GT3 RS, so I didn't want to feature two Porsches in a single week. And last week, the Silverstone National Circuit I felt was way too short to properly display this car's true potential. So first of all, I'm going to have this race with 7 of the other Cayman GT4s to try and find out what a fast competitive lap time in this car around the Imola is. Then we get to hot lapping, trying to chase down the lap times that we have found during our race and try to get somewhat consistent at it. Then we get to the breakdown, where we deep dive into the fastest lap that we managed in the hot lapping session and get into every technical details like every braking point, turn-ins, exits, stuff like that. As of now, join you at the end of the race. Right, the race is done and I just missed out on the fastest lap by 1.5 tenths of a second. The fastest lap was done by the 6th car, 2 minutes 0.862. My fastest lap was a 20995, which is the 3rd fastest in the entire field. The 2nd fastest being done by car number 1, 20985. I did manage a couple of purple sectors in sector 2 and sector 3, but I was way off the fastest time in sector 1, although I was way faster than the other cars in sector 2. In fact, apart from the first car, which did a 46.8, nothing else came close. The next closest was 47 and it ranged all the way down to 47.4. In terms of fastest times, the fastest lap was done by car number 4 at 2 minutes 1.590, which also did the slowest last lap at 2 minutes 2.025. So let's just say our window here is a very high 2.0 to a lowly 2.2 and anything in between. With that in mind, let's go hot lapping. Alright, here we go, starting our session here. And immediately this engine sounds sensational. Okay, I'm going to let the tires warm up for this lap and meanwhile quickly give you an overview of this car. After which I'm going to shut up because this is a difficult car to drive, especially with the traction control off. So, the Cayman actually has a brother, a convertible named the Boxster, which debuted in the 1990s as a 986 generation, but that generation had only the Boxster and no Cayman. When the 987 generation replaced the 986 generation, did we finally get a Cayman accompanying the Boxster. Then in 2012 came along this one, the 981 generation Cayman and Boxster. This is the GT4. Now the Boxster, the convertible one, doesn't get a GT4 treatment. This came out in 2015. All Caymans up until the 981 generation were powered by a mid-mounted flat 6 engine. So was this one, but this was the biggest and the most powerful of the entire lineup. It had a 3.8 liter flat 6 with 385 horsepower and 420 Nm of torque. A naturally aspirated flat 6, that is. And it came with a 6-speed manual gearbox. Oh yeah. Porsche may sometimes seem boring, with their cars getting heavier and heavier, more comfort oriented, and their ads bearing the MPG and emission numbers. But when it comes to the GT cars, the 911 GT3, GT2, the Cayman GT4, and now the Porsche Cayenne GT SUV, they really go all out in ensuring that these cars put the driver in the middle of the car, both literally and figuratively. Now, since this is a mid-engine car, as I just said, as opposed to the 911's rear engine, critics say this is a much better balanced car. And I can feel that even in this game, it doesn't have the leech-like traction that the 911 possesses out of corners. But overall, this is a much sweeter, more predictable handling car than the 911s are. So when this thing came out, this 3.8 liter NA engine was derived from the engine from the 991 generation 911 Carrera S, which meant for the first time ever, the mid-engine Cayman actually got 911 levels of power, and the results were just astonishing. That doesn't mean the 911 is now obsolete. This is still an entry-level sports car, and the 911 is still the flagship mainstream product that Porsche offers. But it really helped the mid-engine architecture of the Cayman finally grow up to its true potential, you know. So after the sensational car that came out in 2015, giving a fitting farewell to the 981 generation of Cayman and Boxsters, which went out of production in 2016, what did Porsche do? They debuted the 982 generation and replaced the flat 6 engines with turbocharged 4 cylinders in its entire lineup. It was still a flat 4, but it was turbocharged, and well, let's just say I have listened to better sounding hair dryers. Although Porsche have now announced the 982 generation Cayman GT4 RS, which has the delicious 4 liter flat 6 engine from the 911 GT3. This really has the perfect amount of horsepower so that it is still extremely fast around any racetrack around the world, but it still lets you enjoy without intimidating you. Woohoo. Now I say that this car requires concentration mainly because of its oversteering nature. Even when it oversteers, it seems more playful than the McLaren P1's "Yeah, I will kill you now." No, it doesn't do that. This thing is like a fully grown-up Labrador which still thinks it's a puppy. You know what I mean? Okay, Tommy, playtime is over now. You know what? For some reason I'm way off my pace here. So I'm giving up this session. I'm just going to get up, get some fresh air and restart my session here. Give it 8 or 10 laps and see where that takes us. Sounds good? Join you in a moment. No, I really did mean a moment. So let's see how this session goes. Okay, that's enough. Let's go look at the lap times now. Alright, that's the end of just 10 laps. And this session was proper. I mean, the fastest time was a 201.183. Still quite a bit off from the fastest times from the race. Just about 0.2, 0.3 seconds off. So yeah, slower yet pretty competitive time. If you look at the other times here, most of the times apart from the first one and a few at the end, namely the lap number 8 in particular, all the other times are in the 201 to an early 202s, which were exactly what we were aiming for. I had a slight incident in lap number 8, and my theory here is since this car is so much prone to oversteer, in the first session, by the time I was done talking about the car, I slid the car so much that I ended up messing up the rear tires. So I was losing grip. This is also a testament to something applicable in anything you do. If you're doing something with full concentration and it doesn't work out, just take a break. Looking at the sector times, a 34.324, a 46.607, and a 40.252. The middle sector was immediately the fastest, the only one below 47. Same goes for the first sector time, it was the fastest. Not the third sector though. I mean 40.252 is quite a bit off from few high 39s I have done. The fastest being in lap number 2 with a 39.857. Anyway, time for the breakdown now. Joining you on the main straight, across the line and flat out through turn 1. Coming up is turn 2, 3 and 4. Brake right at the 200 meter marker on the right side over there. Hold your brakes. Release as you enter turn 2. At the apex, gently start accelerating, modulating your throttle through turn 3 and flat out through turn 4. Coming up is turn 5 and 6. Look out for that 100 meter marker on the right side. Once your car is completely past that, give it a short but firm dab of brakes. Release at the entry of turn 5 and brake again for turn 6. At the apex, start accelerating towards turn 7. Hit your brakes just as you pass the 50 meter marker. Release as you enter the corner, look for a late apex and gently accelerate out of the corner. Fluid the throttle on the exit. Flat out through turn 8, coming up is turn 9. Again, hit your brakes just before the 50 meter marker. Release at the entry, look for a mid-corner apex and gently accelerate out of the corner. Moving on to turn 11, 12 and 13. For turn 11, brake right before the 50 meter marker, release at the entry and brake again for turn 12. Look for a mid-corner apex, gently accelerate out of the corner once you pass the apex, flat out through turn 13. Moving on to turn 14 and 15, the chicane. Brake a couple of car lengths before the marker 50 on the left, hold your brakes, release at the entry of turn 12, use both the inner curbs and feather the throttle out of the corner. Coming up is turn 16 and 17. Go flat out until halfway through turn 16 when you brake right between the 150 and the 100 meter markers on the right side. Release at the entry. At the apex, gently start accelerating. Dab of brakes at the entry of turn 18, look for a late apex and accelerate out of the corner. From there, go flat out through turn 19, enjoying the German flat 6 music as it propels you past the start finish line in a 201.183. So that's all for today. Let me know your thoughts about this video down in the comment box below. Also, if you want to see any car or track in particular to be featured in a future episode in this channel, comment them down below and I shall try to do them. While you're down there, hit your favorite buttons, the like, share, subscribe and the bell notification icon, and I'll see you in my next video. Until then, drive hard, drive safe. Take care.